Wow. Okay, for those of you that are in the recording, you missed the best 5 minutes of the class, but we'll start now. Okay. Now that that's done, thank you, James. So, again, 5 years, I've helped a little over 200 families. I'm also the productivity coach here in the Market Center, so I help new agents and agents that want to level up their business as well. So I've been a part of a lot of transactions and a lot of different types of transactions. And I don't say all that to put a chip on my shoulder. It's really just because in the instructor guide, it tells me I have to establish credibility. So this is what I'm doing with you guys now, because I know most of you. And along with that, you know, one thing that I'm really proud of is the way that I market specifically my listings. I'm really excited about the marketing your listing section. I'm a huge proponent of I'm happy to spend the appropriate money so that my sellers can make more, right? You'll never see me take cell phone photos for a listing unless it's really, really bad. Unless it's like a 0 bed, 0 bath and it's a total gut. You'll probably see professional photography because how you present yourself is how you attract who you want. And we're going to dig in today to marketing for lead generation, designing your brand, marketing your brand, the listing side, and then we're going to put it all together at the end. So before I get started though, here's the ground rules. You guys need me to go over the ground rules? Are we going? I'm going to be good today. We're good. Okay, cool. We're going to keep going. So let's talk about where you guys are at today. This is on your page 4 if you have it. So what have you guys been doing as far as lead generation activities? I want to hear from 2 or 3 people. What are we doing now as far as lead gen? And we've got a good mix of people that have been in the business for several years or just getting started. So someone raise a hand online. Yes.
Handwritten notes, calls, and texts to your database.
Awesome.
Nurture.
Awesome. So is that your lead generation? Is that your lead follow-up?
Both. I mean,
Both.
and then also door knocking our neighborhoods.
Okay, door knocking.
That'd be more lead generation.
Okay, you're saying, what else?
Circle prospecting.
Circle prospecting. So what do you mean by circle prospecting?
Both like with a phone call, if we have like a listing, or door knocking. And I think the bold number is 100 houses. But door knocking around a listing.
Awesome. Door knocking around. So Michael Rice jumped in and said SOI and social media. So what else?
So as I've been entering people into command, I mean, basically I'm just calling people, letting them know what my new job is. And, you know, because a lot of them aren't necessarily, you know, they're leads, they're just people I've known throughout the years, and just letting them know I'm going to change.
Awesome. Steve, how about you?
Not very much, actually. I relied on my warm market extensively and didn't really think I'd have to do more as that continued to grow and expand, referral after referral after referral. And then guess what? It stopped.
Yeah. So what happened when it stopped?
Well,
How'd that make you feel?
not great. Like it was time to really get to work. And so that's why I'm here and my new team is here.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the vulnerability, Steve, because that's huge for the learning experience. And I think a lot of times in here, we try and present the same face that we present out there. And that's different, right? Let's be honest, right? I did not always market at a high level or lead gen at a high level. And I'm willing to raise my hand and say that I did not do that. I was also depending on the heat of the market or the quality of my sphere, right? I got some phone calls that I probably shouldn't have gotten because I didn't follow up right. And I lost some deals because I didn't follow up right? So you guys be as honest as you can, and we're going to dig into, okay, how do we really systematically start marketing ourselves and capitalizing on our lead gen activities in our database. So one more person. How are we lead gen?
Tyrone and I like going out to eat, so usually I leave my card to the hostess or whoever's taking our order. And then if the restaurant allows you to put your cards there, I usually put my cards and leave them there.
Awesome. Cool. You got a return on that yet?
Yes, I actually had my first buyer ever was from a restaurant that I left my card at.
Perfect. So we heard 5 or 6 different styles, right? When I built my business, initially in the first couple of years, it was almost solely on open houses. That was my 100% focus when I first started. Because I didn't have a Sphere. I've only been here since 2015. I'd only been here a couple of years and was really not here in my corporate job to make friends or really build a Sphere. So everyone's different. But now I do the same thing. I farm restaurants, right? So you've heard of geographical farming neighborhoods, right? You can farm anything, by the way. It means being a creature of habit. I go to the same restaurants multiple times a week. I tip well. I know all the staff by name. I rotate sections to make sure if there's somebody new, I know who they are, and I leave a card, right? I did the math with my coach at one point because I was deciding to save money by not going out to eat, and he slapped my hand because when I did the math, I actually had more in commission income than what I would save by not going to lunch and actually marketing to that base. Does that make sense? So whatever it is that you do, you be a creature of habit. So what are some ahas that you guys had from the previous content? Anything that you guys have put into place that you got from the other sessions so far?
Don't confuse effort with enjoyment.
Don't confuse effort with enjoyment. Okay, I love that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that word?
It was the lead generation class with Tim, and which is pretty much how you have to put the effort. You probably won't enjoy it, but you still have to put the effort. At least that's how I took it. I took it as. So.
Lead gen isn't always fun, right? Okay. So, what are you guys gonna do differently in the next 24 hours to focus on your business? Something
Depends
that.
what you don't.
Manage my time better.
Okay, manage my time better, okay. Tell me what you mean by that.
Time block or take advantage of gaps in time to lead gen.
Awesome. Cool. So, love that, okay. We'll get more into that a little bit later. So you guys are here to be a relentless marketer, and some of this stuff is not as updated to the content. So are you guys okay as we go through if we socialize this a little bit, because the age of social media is completely different than what it was when this content was written, right? We can all agree about it. It's different than what it was a week ago. I just figured out, by the way, that a thumbs up is a bad thing.
Huh?
And like
Oh, on
emojis.
social media, yeah,
Yeah.
your hearts push your social media content more. So if people heart of content.
No, I was talking about like the younger generation, like that's like apparently like cringe,
Oh,
or any emoji with teeth. Just figured this out.
Who told you this?
yes.
People that are younger than me, obviously. So, I mean, we're all fine.
My daughter's
Although I might not.
21 and like she's not on Facebook. Like the stuff, what she's on is different. So
Yeah.
so
No,
I
that's
would-
for old people, by
I
the way.
would think that if we're targeting Facebook, we're probably targeting a little bit older generation. So the younger generation, if they say this, they're not who we're targeting. So it may not be as bad as you think.
Yes, and I like that you brought that up, because the biggest part of marketing is really knowing your audience, right?
Yeah.
And you can't know your audience unless you know what it is that you represent in your business, right? So we'll get into that when we talk about building a brand. So, how are we gonna make this a great training experience? I'm gonna say that I wanna hear a couple of expectations that you guys wanna get to make this a good experience. And I'm gonna write them on the board so that we can actually hit specific topics around either branding or marketing. And then at the end, if we don't touch on everything, I wanna come back to that. But this is a two-way conversation. I do a lot of facilitation, a lot of teaching. And if it's just me talking, then I'm doing it wrong, right? So I wanna hear from you guys. What do you wanna get out of today? Anything?
I think maybe less why, more how.
Ooh, love that.
We're all bought in on the why we're
I like
doing
that.
this,
That's a good
but
point.
Yeah.
now tell me what to do.
That's great. I love that.
More how, awesome. I'm gonna underline that like twice, because I absolutely love that, thank you. All right, what else? See, we're already getting good stuff, yeah.
Okay, with the how and like the schedule, one thing that's, I think, come up before, and even videos I watch is, okay, spend all your time lead gen and prospecting, which you should. But we all do have other things to do. I've got to talk to this client about this. I've got to post that, or, we got business admin and stuff to do. And you can't leverage that yet because you're still small. How do you fit that in?
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
So for those of you online that can't read that, hopefully you can. Is that coming through? I haven't zoomed in. Or is it flipped?
Lindy said it's flipped. She's
It's
nodding
flipped?
yes.
You can write it backwards.
It's flipped and I can't read it, but I'm here, I hear you guys talking, so I got it.
Wonderful, okay. There's a way to flip it, but I'm not super smart. So on the next activity, I will try and flip it, but for now, we'll keep moving. So what I wrote down was prioritization without leverage. Does that summarize that pretty well? Okay. What else? Let's hear a couple things.
If we could get proven, actual, successful strategies. Because this is the one area where everybody's got the golden ticket, but it's all speculation. I want to, like, if we could actually see stuff that actually works.
Love it. Okay. Love that. And again, not who you expected me to be. I do have some proven strategies that are probably different than what Paulina would have presented. Mine's gonna be more tactical, hers is more social, but both have had impact, right? So we can definitely get into that. Awesome. What else? I definitely have to have a different strategy if you guys can't tell. Just saying, not a social butterfly.
You're not?
No,
Know yourself.
know yourself, cool. What else? And I'll say, I don't have to have it, I choose to have a different strategy, right? Because it's more based on time. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, if you don't like social media, don't build a strategy around it. Build a
Well,
strategy around marketing.
All that stuff matters because you know yourself, then you know what your market is, and like it's, you gotta start with yourself.
I'm coaching clients all the time that start out with me and they say, hey, I need to build a Facebook because I'm told I was supposed to, right? And while that could be a way, are there other marketing activities outside of Facebook? Is the time going to be better spent on something that they would actually utilize anyway? Right, so we all have different strengths, so we'll play to as much of those as we can. What else? A couple more things you guys want to get out today. Anybody online?
Some pretty good stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that's on there for sure.
All right, let's just focus on those three. So this is more of the how. I'm gonna go through this really quickly to address this top point, right? We all know marketing is important. We don't need a bread analogy to figure out why that's important, right? It is about a habit though, and that's one thing in the content that we do touch on that is important. You should make it a habit. If you want to be good at anything, marketing, lead gen, or marketing for the purpose of lead gen, you have to do it consistently, right? And if you don't like doing it, then it's going to be even harder to create that habit. That's why I say like your lead gen source matters, right? So let's talk about, we know advantages, disadvantages. I do want to touch on this a little bit. Cost. Does anybody have a limiting belief around not having a budget for marketing? Anyone say, oh, has anyone had great ideas that they thought would work, but just haven't had the revenue to do that? Marianne? Okay. So give me a couple examples.
Well, I just started doing it, which was the videos, the Facebook videos. When I first started, I didn't have it's not that I didn't have the budget for it. I just didn't think it was a priority to invest in at first. And now it's something that I'm time blocking on my calendar, social media content.
Gotcha.
And the video creation with an actual person.
With an actual person?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's similar to my strategy too. So those of you that don't follow me on Facebook, you can, and you can see some of what I do and do a little R&D. You guys know what R&D means, right?
It means something different here.
Rip off and duplicate, right? So yeah, if you guys see something on my page you like, take it, right? So a huge part of my social media strategy when I rebranded was to focus on a lot of video and it's education. And so the three things, just to get right into something here, as far as advantages, disadvantages, and this is something that costs no money, by the way, is you want to be motivational, educational, and inspirational. So if you are not sure what kind of content you need to make, you need to just start with these three things. And by the way, this is real estate related. These are not. So educational is real estate. When it comes to motivational and inspirational, it's not. And there's a difference between motivational and inspirational too. Motivational is more about getting them moving, having a call to action, getting them to actually take action on whatever information that is that you're giving, right? Call now, check out this listing, click here, right? It's those call to actions. When it comes to inspirational, a lot of times that's not real estate related and it just has to do with coming from gratitude and brightening people's day, right? Because not everybody that is on your 36 touch campaign, be it social media, email, text, whatever source you want, is gonna buy and sell a house this year. Would you guys agree with that? So how do we keep them engaged without clicking that unsubscribe button? And this is it, right? So make sure your content is not just about real estate. So someone read this quote for me.
Marketing for lead generation. Truth. The role of marketing during your growth phase is to supplement your prospecting.
So tell me more about that. What does that
Keller
mean?
Williams is prospecting based, marketing enhanced.
Exactly. What else? So another hand.
I was gonna say, if you're door knocking a neighborhood, the marketing to supplement it might be paying for numbers or mailers, marketing to that neighborhood you're already prospecting.
Gotcha. So double dipping?
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. So Michael said, as far as limiting belief, making videos are hard. Love that. Do they have to be? Do they have to be? And you guys, if you saw my Facebook, you would laugh because I don't make perfect videos. And neither does anyone that has video marketing as a lead gen source. But my bad videos are better than your non-videos. And because I'm authentic on camera, I draw people that are going to enjoy working with me. Does that make sense? So put out, what you put out is what you attract. So I'm a teacher at heart and I'm a huge dad and a goober. And so my stuff is corny. Some people hate it. Sorry, I have to silence my cell phone. That was actually in the ground rules and I broke one, sorry. But the people that like working with me are not Maria's clients. Right? So when she does videos, like they're gonna absolutely like, she's gonna draw the people that want to work with someone that is not dry, that is more bubbly, and that has a lot more energy than I do. And the people that want to look at numbers and understand like data points and get into just the economy, like they're gonna come to me, right? And that's okay. So, yes.
So I didn't like making videos and being on camera, and somebody had given me a really cool suggestion. So I started making videos personally and putting them on my personal page. That had nothing to do with, it was mortgage at the time, but we were, starting to push video. So it just, because the one thing that's super hard is not making it herky jerky and being comfortable behind the camera. So, I did that for like a month where I'd post 2 or 3 videos of just working in the backyard and talking on the camera and just, just trying to be where you weren't really thinking about it as much. Worked good.
So basically you tailored it to your own style.
Well, that was just sort of how I got over the hump so that I felt comfortable in posting stuff that was, work related. But I think, the authenticity that you talk about, like you can't really, if your heart's fluttering while you're trying to do it, then it doesn't work very well.
So my recommendation for you guys, and we might do this on a break. So just show of hands, who's interested in video marketing, like specifically video? Because I want to make sure I'm talking to something that's appealing. So
Can you rephrase that question?
So who's interested in video marketing?
It's like, I'm interested in it, but I'm not comfortable doing it.
Okay, cool, great. That's perfect.
Okay.
So are you guys okay with us getting uncomfortable on a break?
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable already.
Sounds like
Great. So,
Talking about being uncomfortable.
So we might do this on a break a little bit later on. I might have you guys take a one take. The best way to get comfortable on camera is to do one take and to post it. Doesn't matter what you say, or if you screw up, one take. And I see the fear in your eyes and I love it because that fuels me and it will for the next hour and a half. So I'm excited about that. So you're not supposed to be perfect, right? If they wanted a commercial, people would still pay for cable. Right? So being authentic sometimes means making a mistake on camera and rolling with it and laughing it off. And you'll get more followers with that than you will a perfectly polished, professionally shot and expensive video. Right? You can do all that if you want, and that's great, but typically it's not where you start. So I can feel the fear. I love it. It's amazing. So we know the benefits. We know it sets you apart. Market share, mind share. I do want to talk about mind share a little bit because who's familiar with the economic model of real estate? Yeah, so great. That was a good show of hands. How many touches do you need for your Mets? 36. Okay, 36 touches. Okay, 36 touches. How are you guys currently doing those activities? You're not. Okay, cool. That's the right answer because most people aren't unless they have a huge team, right? And they're paying other people to do it because our personality outshines our prioritization as agents, right? So how many weeks are there in a year?
52.
52. If you took off 2 weeks for vacation and you made one video per week to social media, how many touches is that? 50. How many do you need? Class over. Right? Rethink what this touch campaign means, right? This is any interaction. Now there's a quality and a quantity associated with it. But if I do 2 videos a week, which is what I did when I built my video presence, was two branded videos a week, that's 100 touches, even taking 2 weeks off. That's 100 touches a year. And you only have to watch a third of them for me to be achieving what I need to achieve if I've got you on a quarterly call plan and I call you every three months anyway. And then my marketing is done, right? I don't have to come up with recipes. I don't have to build a newsletter. I just have to be uncomfortable on camera twice a week. You guys following me? So that's it. So you capture mind share by being present. And anytime you do a social story or you make a video or you send an email or a text or do whatever it is that you choose to do based on content, it doesn't even matter what it's about. It could be motivational or inspirational and not about real estate, but you're still going to be staying top of mind when those people are associating you with your business. Does that make sense? Awesome. So.
How long's your video?
3 minutes. 5 minutes, absolute tops. Now, that's for Facebook. So if we actually are breaking it down, so Facebook likes 3+ minutes because the algorithm is actually benefiting you and they will push it to more organic reach without you having to pay it. And you shouldn't pay, by the way, don't boost, right? Just put it out there. You're going to get more organic reach that way.
I'm sorry, could you What was the first part?
So 3 minutes plus is the algorithm that Facebook wants. So they'll actually,
Beneficial to be.
it's more beneficial to be more than 3 minutes
Okay.
on Facebook.
Do you see that people with having that long of a video that you lose their interest?
Yes, when I look at my views, it actually looks at, and I can pull up my page here in a little bit because you guys wanted practical, right, proven strategy, so I can actually show you my analytics. I see more 30-second views than full views every time. And I see a lot of 3-second views. I want to avoid the 3-second views. If I'm getting more 30-second views than I am 3-second views, then that's good content. That
You
means that
wanna
it was
get
engaging.
Your most important stuff out there right at the front then?
Correct. So your format is, you hook, you tell them what you're gonna tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. That's my format for literally every video that I do. So tell them, I'll write that down, tell them what you told them.
Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them.
Oh yeah, sorry, tell them. I did that wrong. Tell them. And that's it. So 1, 2, 3. And for 3 minutes, that works really well because the tell them what you're going to tell them is like 5 to 10 seconds. And like, for example, I did a video on World Trick Shot Day because it was a dumb holiday and it had nothing to do with real estate and I needed content, right? So I said, hey guys, welcome. Happy World Trick Shot Day. And I said, check this out. And I flipped the bottle like that. And then I cut in a video from TikTok with it like bouncing and landing on a cat's head, which was not actually my video, by the way. Absolutely not mine. Still had the tag. I still gave credit. So you social media warriors don't attack me yet. But that was all I had, right?
If you got copyright infringement.
No, I gave him credit. And then it was my tag and said, hey, happy World Trick Shot Day. It was the title card, right? And then it was me talking about Trick Shot Day. Like, hey guys, it's Brian Stone Realty Group powered by KW. Happy holidays. It's World Trick Shot Day. So I want you guys to engage and show me your favorite trick shot. So list it in comments below, right? It has nothing to do with real estate, right? Super short, engaging. And I got people start tagging me and like sending me stuff, right? And it was all stuff that I appreciate because I could lose an hour surfing TikTok on watching trick shot videos, right? Like Dude Perfect. Oh my God, I could just get lost with that channel, right? But again, I told him what I was going to tell him. I told him, hey, it's Trick Shot Day. And then I told him, hey, you know what? Thanks for tuning in, sharing the video below. See you next week, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. And I can show you guys some examples if you want, but you really don't just want to spend 2 hours watching videos of me, I promise you. You guys can check that out after class. So.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Sorry. Back to the analytics part of this. If your video is over 3 minutes long, they hang in there for 30 seconds. Do you still get the benefit of having the video be over 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has to do with reach, Steve.
Okay.
So there's two things that really push, there's multiple things. There's two primary things with Facebook video that really push engagement. And that's your length, right? And it'll even tell you when you're using and you're uploading a video that it'll give you all green if it's in good format, and there'll be red X's if not. One of those things is it needs to be 3 minutes or longer, right? So it'll push it to more people in your database. And then comments and interactions is the other thing, right? So and the speed of comments is quick. So if you're going to post a Facebook video and you have a team, you can boost each other. If you have a networking group with other business owners and you want to try this and you want to boost off of each other, you can do the same thing. There's a Boost My Listing Facebook page that Joy Bray made that's exactly for this purpose, right? To just hack the algorithm. Because if you get 6 or more comments on there, then it's going to push to that second level of acquaintances for you, right? It's not just your friends, it's your friends of friends.
It's 6 or more in a short amount of time though.
Short amount of time.
30 minutes?
Oh, gosh. I don't know the exact time, Tish. I always shoot for in the next, like within 15 minutes, trying to get as much engagement as possible. I think it is probably closer to 30. And you can't really manufacture all of that, right? But you can do a lot because when somebody does post, you comment, even if it's just a GIF saying like thumbs up or like a weird GIF, acknowledging their comment, that's another interaction. So I post a video, Maria likes it. I'm gonna like her comment and then I'm gonna reply to her comment. So that's more engagement and it's gonna keep on pushing all the way down. If you guys wanna test this, do something about your family. Personally, and just watch how big those posts blow up. And it's because everybody loves liking pictures of people's family or kids, right? With other platforms, it's different. You know what I mean? If we're talking about Instagram, that needs to be 30 seconds. It needs to be really short. TikTok's even shorter, 15 seconds, right? If you're wanting to be on TikTok. But again, know who you're appealing to. When we actually get into the activity of you guys talking in groups and working through what you want your brand to look like, that'll help you identify what sources you want to be on. Facebook and Insta are really good because you can post both at the same time, right? Because it's owned by the same parent company. Because Instagram has that now too. And TikTok, if you don't want TikTok, if your primary is Facebook, you can do Facebook Stories. Which is similar to a Snapchat where it only stays up for 24 hours. And that's how you can do some engagement in between posts, right? So this is talking about building a 3-hour habit. We're just gonna continue going on to our myths here. So someone I haven't heard from, read myth 1.
I only need to prospect or market to be successful.
So obviously the truth is both, right? And so Steve, to pick on you, I mean, you focus just on prospecting. Really, it was more follow-up, right? Initially, right? So it's just lead follow-up from opportunities that were there.
Yeah.
You say that's accurate?
Yes,
So you were just on one arm of these two things,
correct.
right? So the beauty is that one builds on the other. Like my business, I don't buy leads. I don't cold call. I don't door knock. I don't do anything cold. And I still market because marketing is still important for this right here to get my touches and keep my share. Does that make sense? So it applies to everyone.
So real quick on the 36 touch.
Yeah.
So you have your have mets in your CRM, correct?
Yes.
And then are you tracking the 36 touches with those have mets?
It's impossible.
Okay.
So it means that I get a minimum of 4 phone calls because of my quarterly call plan. They do get a newsletter. I do a traditional newsletter just to have another touch. So they're on a 12 direct. And then I have a neighborhood nurture. So I'm actually, social is just icing, right? But there's a lot of people that I miss that are in my world that aren't in my CRM. And a lot of it's just extended acquaintances or people that are outside of my immediate sphere. Because realistically, any agent has a hard time managing any more than about 150 people in their database and really have deep connections, right? You know their kids, they would recognize you if you walk by, right? So what social does for me is it allows me to get to outer circles of the sphere. I'm hitting my acquaintances and then my acquaintances, i.e. the general public, which is a target market that I wouldn't normally hit. But it's a reinforcer for my database, my past clients.
So the 3 touches that you said was the quarterly call plan.
I do the quarterly call plan. That's a must. I do the DTD2, which is do the database 2. Everybody know what that means? Okay. If you look up DTD2, you can find a schedule. 26 letters of the alphabet. If you did 2 letters a week, that's 13 weeks. You do a 13-week cycle, that's 52 weeks. You basically hit everybody quarterly, everybody in your world just by going by 2 letters of their, and go by the last name. It removes call bias. It's a really simple system. They talk about it in bold. Before that, I took a class called Never Ending Referrals with Steve Schluter. If you look up Steve Schluter, he talks about it. So that's how I do my lead gen because having 2 businesses, being a coach and having a team, I don't lead gen 3 hours a day. I don't. But I do because anytime I'm in the car, I know what week it is, what my 2 letters are. And any opportunity I have, those are the people that I'm calling. And then I can track everything at the end of the day. right? And get back caught up, right? But it helps me stay on top of it when I get busy getting busy. Does that make sense?
So the neighborhood market with a new CRM with limited addresses, how do you address that?
In the quarterly calls, right?
Okay.
Your job in those calls is to provide value, to make deposits, right? And to make sure that you're updating their info. And you earn the right to do that by staying in communication with them. Like, hey, you know, would it be valuable? That's my favorite script ever is, would it be valuable? You can start any conversation with those words. Would it be valuable? Would it be valuable if I catch up to date on what your neighborhood's doing as far as values? Yeah, that'd be great, Brian. Awesome. Do you want me to send that every couple of weeks or you just want a monthly report? Monthly would be great. Awesome. I just need to input your address and get your email, the best email for me to send that to. And then you're updating your database while making your quarterly call.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. It's not difficult. We just don't do it consistently, right? Your past clients should be the easiest ones to do the 36 touch because you know their address. You should know their email. You sent them contracts. And you should know their number because hopefully you've talked to them, right? You don't have a complete contact card for your past clients. Start there. Start there because they already see the value, right? Any questions about that 36 touch? That's all command, guys. I have used like 6 different CRMs in the past. I've done a lot of paid ones. Follow Up Boss, if you're going to pay for one, is probably the one that I like the best. It's $60 and it actually does a lot of stuff that previous to command launching, now command does, right? So I used that before command was really as functional, but now I just use command. And the neighborhood nurture is super easy. There's also one called a 5x5x5. Anybody have command pulled up? If you just go into the library and type 5x5x5, you'll find it. That's a 12 touch campaign that includes social media touches and includes you linking that profile onto command because you can link a Facebook profile onto command. And it's as simple as like or comment. What my team does is we stagger that social touch to be a week prior to us doing a quarterly call. That smart plan, the 5x5x5 is different. It's 30 days apart. But if I'm going to call Tim, then next week, if W for Wooten is on my DTD2, then this week I'm going to have a purposeful click, comment, share something on your social profile before I make that call next week. Because my answer rate goes through the roof because I've already engaged with them. It's something that they care about. And I have a conversation to have. I don't have to come up with something about the market and have it be salesy. Like, yeah, hey, Tim, I just saw that you guys are finishing up with your nightly rental. You're getting everything furnished. That's awesome. How's that going for you? Right? So I can actually have that genuine conversation because I made the engagement last week and now I'm calling this week. Does that make sense? So you guys can be smart with that. You just have to block your time. So truth, both prospecting and marketing. That's our job. Myth 2, moving on.
I think someone commented on there, and I had this
Oh, thank
similar
you.
question, was how do you actually set up the neighborhood nurture in command?
So I want to make sure that I'm thoughtful to getting through any other content or questions. If we have time at the end, I will show you guys that, or I will stay after at 1 o'clock for any of you that want to see how to do that. And I'm happy to pull up my command and show you guys how to do that. Is that fair? Cool. So I'm gonna make myself a note to make sure that I follow up on that. It's really easy. Okay, myth 2. Someone want to read number 2?
The purpose of prospecting and marketing is to get appointments.
Okay, what's the truth?
The purpose of prospecting and marketing is to get appointments and to increase your database of Mets.
That's true. That's very true, right? It's not just to get appointments. Why do you think that it's important not to subscribe to that myth?
Because you could just be meeting someone for coffee to relationship build and it's not an appointment just yet, but that might lead to one. So you're earning their trust.
So anybody have a past client that just bought in the past year and they're just not calling them because, oh, surely they're not looking to sell right now? Anybody done that? Nobody? Just me? Steve, yeah, right? Yeah, absolutely. Like you have a limited amount of time, lead gen sucks, right? I don't want to do 3 hours of it. I'm gonna call the people that I feel like I'm gonna get the highest return on. That's call bias. So that's why that DTD2 system or having that purposeful time block in place is so important because you never really know who your next deal is gonna come from.
And that client that you have a fresh purchase or sale with, they may not be ready, but you'll jog their memory of somebody that they know that's ready.
Right. And truthfully, you're at the highest point of value, right? Even in the middle of the transaction, you should still be communicating with them and marketing to those people because you're at the highest point of value until the inspections come. But get your referrals before the inspection. Trust me. Especially right now, they won't do anything. So yeah, when you're at that high point of value, don't allow your own bias to prevent you from calling the people that you need to call. That one hit really hard for some people.
I had one client get a job transfer 8 months later.
8 months later, yeah.
Mind you, I've been in touch. Good job.
I had a client that sold his house after 6 months. And he made 50 grand, by the way. His purchase was 425. He sold closer to 500. Is that, I mean, if I had been subscribing to this, anybody want to do the math on what I would have lost out on, an opportunity?
15 grand.
Right? And for every one that I did take, there's probably 3 that I missed, right? For not following up effectively. I had another client this year that sold 6 months later because she met a boy and they fell in love. And now they're getting married and they're moving in together. And I'm a romantic, so naturally I'm doing the wedding, right? That's a touch.
Wait, you're doing the wedding?
I'm officiating the wedding. Wow. I'm officiating the wedding, yeah. I'm on like 4 clients that I've officiated for.
Nice.
Evan Van Osteren, who's on my team now, and has capped 2 years in a row. I officiated his wedding long before he was in real estate, right? So lead generation is literally everything that you do, if you do it purposefully. So.
Do you get up there while you're officiating and you're talking about real estate in between the I do and you do?
No, but I have joked at a title company before when they mess it up and it's not a married couple that are purchasing together and they think it is and they have to correct the paperwork. I just say, well, we've got a witness. We can just do this right now. Save the reprint. No one's taking me up on that, but it's always a good joke, right?
You'd have to have a legal. Just because, don't you have to take it to the courts though?
Yeah, it has to be recorded. Yeah, but I can marry 2 people right now. Why? You got someone you haven't talked to yet?
No,
No, I'm officiating 2 more weddings this year.
but you would have to pause the closing to get it filed, wouldn't you?
Do you? I now pronounce. We file it later. Good.
It only takes
You really
like
want to
10
do this,
minutes.
I see.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the opportunity. Yeah. All right, myth 3. Any marketing I do builds mind share. I read this one, because I love this one. Any marketing I do builds mind share. Someone read the truth.
If you don't market repeatedly and consistently, you are throwing your money away.
Or your time, right? Because we're talking about things we can do without money, but yes. Write this down. You guys are taking notes. I know you heard Tim talk about time on task beats talent every time, right? Put another way in terms of marketing is consistency beats intensity every time. Consistency beats intensity every time. So instead of making that perfect branded video and checking with everybody that you know and occupying the space in your mind because you're nervous about putting something out there that's imperfect for the whole week. Instead of doing that, 1 take, post, repeat.
There's a quote that I like. It's perfection is a procrastinator's best friend. I think, is that the way the quote goes?
Yeah. Or good, what is it? Oh, great great is the enemy of good. Right? Yeah. We're talking about with marketing, you're talking about 80%. If you can get 80% there, it's gonna take you the same amount of time to get to 80% or double or triple to get from 80 to 100 in terms of what you want the perfect product to look like when it comes to marketing. That's anything you do. Get to 80, move on. You're running a business, you're not a social media influencer yet. Right? Some of you might be. Justin's on his way. I have a good feeling about it. Right? Love it. It's a smirk. Gets me every time. All right. My mouse is not working. All right. So let's move on to defining your brand. So this I love, right? This is going to be less practical tactics and more you guys actually defining what your USP is. So somebody tell me what USP stands for.
Unique selling proposition.
Yep. So it's what makes you unique, right? There's a book, and I'm going to erase some of this stuff as we go along because I write a whole lot. There's a book called Fascinate. And it talks a lot about this. If you guys have never read that book, read it. If you really want to level up your branding and learn about the art of fascination, this is a good read. It's pretty quick, and it actually gives you some practical guides. So essentially it talks about knowing what your brand message is, what your unique value proposition is, your unique selling proposition. So show of hands, who here likes vanilla ice cream? All right, woo. All right. Now show of hands, who likes pistachio? Less people, huh? We got one, right? So if you don't have the budget to be all things to all people, you should run away from vanilla. Vanilla marketing means, hey, let me do the generic, here's 5 steps to selling your home. Here's 5 steps to buying a home. And I've done that, right? But you've got to find something that actually makes you unique, because what you want fans that are like super fans of pistachios, right? If you find someone that likes pistachio ice cream, they tell everyone, they introduce their friends, right? They're like, oh, you haven't had pistachio ice cream, you've got to try it, right? So it's that infectious spread that happens. And that comes from understanding who you're marketing to, right? This is what you have to build. Who is my market? Who am I actually trying to reach? Because if I don't want to spend $1 million in advertising, I don't need vanilla brand marketing. I need something that's really unique. Does that make sense? So Fascinate also digs into some of the aspects of marketing and knowing what type of message you do. There's 6 different types of archetypes with marketing. You've got passion, you have prestige, you have trust, you've got mystique. And then there's a 5th one, there's 2 more that I don't use and I forgot. It's
Alert.
Alert, thank you, alert. And then what else?
Innovation, passion, power, prestige, trust, mystique, and alert. Power,
Got it, thank you very much. So everyone has a primary message, right, and a secondary. Passion, for example, is something that if I marketed to that voice, it would be very inauthentic, right? I market to trust and prestige, right? Those are the 2 types of brand messages that I have. I'm giving information, I'm making people feel more comfortable, right? I'm slowing down. Mystique is like you're going to give a teaser and you're not going to give them the whole thing. Mystique is like the Bush Beans commercials. You guys seen that? Like the secret recipe, right? It's KFC's 11 secret herbs and spices, where they actually make this is an actual thing. They make those spices in 2 different plants so that no one talks to each other and they don't know the actual full recipe, right? That's Mystique, right? They've launched their entire brand on just Mystique. Think about the Jaeger effect, right? Jaeger, that's more alert. and passion.
Says, why is Jägermeister the most popular brand nobody likes?
Right. Anybody like Jaeger?
Hell no.
It's disgusting, right? It's because these rumors came up, oh, there's deer blood, or there's like, you know, I think at some point they were supposedly like drugs in it or something like that. And they never corrected it. They just let it run, right?
Publicity.
It's publicity, yeah. So they understood who their market was. You don't even have to be good to market. You don't have to have a good product unless your marketing is the value of your product. right?
Maybe they started those rumors. Maybe they were really brilliant.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens a lot in national news and stuff. You know, so-and-so unnamed source, it's like, yeah, right, that was intentionally put out there.
That's mystique. Like the less information you give, the more intrigued others are. Right? It happens with politicians too. They market this way too. Just watch.
So it's Fascinate, it's the book?
The revised version. Yep.
The revised version.
Yep. It's got like pink and blue on the cover.
This thing.
That's it. Yeah, really good book. And it talks about how to tailor your brand messages. Essentially, we're gonna skip right to the exercise. I want you guys to actually go to page 20. And we're actually going to, it says, yeah, we're gonna take 5 minutes to review and revise your statement from Power Session 1, building validity and positioning, which I'm sure that all of you have right front and center, right? Because you all came prepared and printed off all your own materials. And if not, that's okay. You can take your time to write this down now. So we're going to just start as a solo activity. I just want you guys to write what you think your unique value is, right? So if you don't have the USP, just take the opportunity to fill it out. After 5 minutes, we're actually going to meet in groups of 4 or fewer to share it, and we'll get feedback from the peers, right? So we're actually going to get into some activity with this. So make sure that you actually write something down. Otherwise, when I get you guys in small groups, you're going to be like, I have no value and nothing is unique about me. And you guys don't want to be that person. So take 5 minutes. I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to play some cool music that Tish picked out for us. And then those of you online, you guys can chat. So you guys will be one big group. And you can share everything, but take this time too. So 5 minutes on the clock.
Said go back from where?
Power Session 1, it was building validity and positioning. So this is your USP statement from there. And now we're just bringing that back out. And I want you guys to update it with what we've talked about so far this morning in mind. So we'll take 5 minutes.
This, I'm gonna head out. It's gone.
That's why I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get back down and I gotta know my limits.
I mean, I was just thinking of something new.
Brian, did we do a sign in for this one? Sign in sheet?
I don't think we
Can we
did.
make one?
That'd be great.
I know, we've done it for the other one.
Thank you. That's really not bothering me. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's low battery. Well, that's not gonna cut it. Sorry, guys.
Guess you'll never completely run out of battery because that sounds too terrible.
My phone is loud and speaker.
Well, it's got a pretty good speaker on it.
My phone, that's not even all the way up. It's actually really good speaker.
What is it? What fun.
It's a Galaxy S22 Ultra.
That's how we go. All I know is this ain't a show. You and me just having fun. And when we're bumping, I feel
Keyword on USP is unique. Make sure you guys are highlighting what makes you different than all the vanilla brands out there around the office or in the industry.
Cause I know it's only good vibes when I got you next to me. I know we're gonna bring it good time. It's the way we always live. Know it's only good vibes when I got you next to me. I know we're gonna bring it good time. It's the way we always live. I know it's only good vibes.
That's the hard part. Another minute or so wrap up your thoughts and we'll break up in a group.
We can make it right in the city.
All right.
Calm down and concentrate.
Calm down. Nice fade, Brian.
We're on the fade. We're on the fade. Did you say it was hard to concentrate with music? All right, so now everybody got their fully fleshed out, 100% perfect.
No, it's
Remember,
still,
we're going for 80, right?
still just in the bone section.
Okay.
No flesh on it.
No flash, that's okay. You know how many houses, people sell that have good bones, Tim?
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, you don't need the fleshy stuff. Yeah, you're good. All right, so as a group in here, I guess want you to break up groups. Let me see. Let's do groups of three. So find two other friends, right? And in this activity, because I know a lot of you guys don't have your book, we're gonna take some more time. I want you guys to share your unique selling proposition, your USP, and then give feedback. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes. So share it in 1 minute, feedback in another minute, and change place. So you guys online, go ahead and chat online. We'll be one big group. So go ahead and write USP.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Good talk. And then we'll get feedback there too.
The world.
This is actually
Defining generations that
My
all different,
spirit.
better.
So I've done something to teachers, students, similar about it. We like to post this whole list of things that we think make you you and try and
Also do a lot of
pose it into one sentence. It's like,
It's
pretty amazing. So I just have a list right now. We did
Education and creativity.
I like how you wrote
But,
that.
Always entertaining positive possibilities.
Like past jobs and experiences. I was a property manager for about 4 years before I was here. So I do have a lot, like that background. Knowing what to go with, knowing what could go
And I
wrong.
probably still
Maintenance,
will,
I
like,
hired all the
me
vendors.
too, but.
GC basically. So I have that, I can give that.
I've always struggled with this qualified.
And then I put a question mark.
Percent attention as opposed to another agent that's got
Here.
17
years.
number
I didn't even
17.
have
you know.
Facebook. I had an Instagram, but I liked how I knew like
But
exactly
I can't
what
remember.
I was interacting with, so.
I know I bring I just didn't have the technology, what exactly.
So I wrote mine, I
I mean, I'm interacting with other people.
negotiating.
That's either
I was the
Steve
general
or
manager for the last 4 years, so a lot of marketing and problem solving. So
I think you
what I
guys
had
like
is
to be a little
over a
serious.
decade of experience
Or not.
with problem solving, marketing and negotiating. I'm uniquely positioned to
That's right,
leverage
I
that
don't,
experience
that's what we're doing.
to provide you with a world-class real estate.
I like the way you kind of did that because what
Like,
might
I
help for
I saw you writing off.
is if you kind of wrote, you can like on there, fill it down, right? Write a paragraph first, like pretend you're writing your own bio, right? And then write an intro to that bio.
Is it documented that you're
As these
baseball
two
guy
sentences
based
read,
on?
kind of flowing out into key things or greater.
I think it's good to elaborate sometimes, but I think like Brian was talking about, in those 3-minute videos, a lot of people watch 30 seconds and then their mind's off to something else, you know?
That's true. Well, I think doing it this way gets you to focus on it as your client. Your background, it might-
About halfway through, so you guys, you haven't made it all the way around, make sure you're, at least your second person.
Being around, so the reason I want that is I want value statement, my clients.
Yeah, you start your video, whatever.
See their kids.
So I think that your experience of managing repairs, you know, because that's everyone's fear whenever they buy a house is, yeah, am I buying someone else's issues, all these things that could go wrong. And although you're not an inspector, I think that you're uniquely
So,
positioned to be able to walk through a home and identify things that they can't from other inspections, but really maybe help them narrow down. No, but that's a great home. That's what they're interested in, just based on what your knowledge is,
I know.
without having to go through that.
I've flipped homes and done interior design, and I understand. So the knowledge,
Go here, go there.
costs to fix it.
What do you do when it's done? You're not gonna get pulled over.
Exactly.
Do you know what you're doing?
Particular,
You know, this is loaded.
century.
Yeah, you know, this is, you don't know what to do. I'm a little more
I live in one
realistic with like what can be done.
Kind of my deal, so, but modern stuff in general, so.
Yeah, 100%. Less than, yeah, $500 or something.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's
I think
that's a good angle.
I mean, still.
Extrovert.
Yeah, education, yeah, education. Because I.
I got that.
Yeah, so for about 15 years, I was a hairstylist and then went from that, actually had like I did solar about a year before that and was trying to do it with home sales. So I had a buddy that runs USA Mortgage that was kind of doing a bunch of work.
There's really nothing that you can't think of it different.
No, I mean, you know, it's cost.
Transitioning to in mortgage and then
But I did.
just got close. But I had flipped a couple houses even when I was a hairstylist.
That's-
So Yeah, closer I got to it. So I know it's like-
I really one more minute, so wrap up conversation you guys are on now. Hey, Steve, can you hear the audio online? Chelsea? Great.
I thought you said vineyard first.
Vineyard.
Right.
Yeah, I was the venue manager.
That takes time to find. I just went and brought down a couple of trees and chopped them up and knocked a square and sand and paint. Like seriously. since
Everything there, like 3 days,
I
right?
have my license.
Go check it out.
Not like Niall said, like.
Temperature. That's very interesting. So kind of.
All right.
I think with the.
Let's reconvene.
No. What other things can we do to get
Skills you can pull out.
like, maybe this isn't working, but is there something else we can do?
Communicating
So that's kind of
and persuading different
I
personality
don't
types.
tend
They're
to-
little personality types, but we have to do the same thing with grown ups and being real estate.
Work on all of that.
Exactly.
Right now, I'm
Flexibility, it's
working on
Yeah, you're shaking.
Maybe something about navigating, helping new buyers navigate the real estate
Right.
market or something like that.
Exactly. It's good. Thank you guys.
Right.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. We've got about 45 minutes left. So we're gonna break this down, and then the next activity is a self-led activity. So you guys okay if I give you a little bit of extra time, and if you guys need to take a break, bio break, anything like that, we just do that during that activity? You guys okay with that on the next one? Or you guys want like a formal, hey, give us like 5 or 10 minutes? You pick. Person sounds fine. Person sounds fine, cool, like, all right. All right, so let's talk about analyzing your style, what makes you memorable. So your style is your personality plus your target group's preferences, right? So let's hear some takeaways. What did you guys hear that you didn't expect in your group discussion, either when you got feedback or hearing somebody else's USB? We had some good discussion online too, so those of you online, you can jump in and talk to. Nobody heard anything interesting. We're all vanilla.
We didn't give any feedback. We just listened.
Yeah,
Okay, so everyone is at 100%.
we just didn't get to that, I guess. We just
We-
listened
Everybody's
to
got
what-
different personalities. We
Yeah.
were just absorbing what makes each person different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So did you guys hear anything from those people that you didn't expect? They're like, oh, that's cool.
She's a teacher. I didn't know she was a teacher.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You were a hairstylist, you said? Yeah, he was a hairstylist. Would never guess.
Yeah.
James has been
No
punched
hair.
by murderers.
With no hair.
James has been punched by murderers.
Living vicariously.
How do you put that in a marketing, like?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Everybody buys houses.
Someone. What'd you say?
Everybody buys houses.
Everybody buys, yes. So how,
I got punched at.
let's help James out. So how could we convert that into an attribute that you can market
That
to?
you got punched by someone?
fight for you.
He's been punched by murderers.
By murderers?
He's seen worse than your ugly house.
Scares him.
Yeah, so he's seen where,
You've worked through adversity.
hey, there we go. I like that, Nate.
Resilience.
Your punch list is nothing.
See? If you don't make a video on that, you're missing out.
You're welcome, buddy.
Yeah, so it could be anything. So some of the stuff online, so. So Brian Jackson said, I help sellers with a proven strategy to net the most possible money in the least amount of time. That combined with consistent communication or constant communication throughout the process is what sets me apart. So Brian, I'm going to challenge you on that. Is that have your personality in there?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
How so?
Well, so for me, and I know proficiency is not necessarily the goal, but at the same time it is. I mean, and that's what I want people to understand that I mean, I go the extra mile, whatever it takes to make sure that their needs are met. And I see them, I hear them, you know what I'm saying? So you're talking about personality. I mean, maybe not in that dry statement, because that was just a unique selling proposition that I have used for a long time. So there's not a lot of personality in it per se, I guess. But of course, most of my people are on Facebook with me or various networking groups or whatever, and they know my personality.
Right. So, and that's a lot of your business is your personality, right?
Absolutely.
I know this about you, right? We discussed this. Is that a USP or is it just an SP? Is that unique? Is there anything about the statement that you typed in there?
Oh, no, not necessarily, other than I said it. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the only unique part about it, is that it came out of my mouth. But I also think that a lot of these things, yeah, it's great to be, you know, I went through the Craig Proctor stuff back whenever he was a big thing, and you know, the guaranteed sales programs and the, you know, 10 free report for 10 blah blah blah, you know, and so on and so forth. But to me, those were all cheesy. I mean, people ultimately, what do sellers want? They want to sell their house in the least amount of time for the most amount of money. So if I tell them that I've got a proven strategy, and I'll back it up when I go to the appointment, I'll show them my strategy, and I'll discuss how that strategy changes somewhat depending on the seller, depending on the property, so on and so forth. You know, and to be honest, a lot of that just comes from years of doing it. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I don't think that this is bad. I just think that there could be more of you in it.
Right.
Because
well,
this
hey,
is-
I
this is about-
am open.
This is about
I'm
meeting
open to ideas.
standards. This is about meeting standards, not exceeding, right?
Right.
So, and
I get
you're
that.
really, if we were to, and you should read Fascinate too, Brian. So if we were to look at Fascinate, you're really, you're appealing to trust, right? You would not be mistaken. There is no secrets, right? You know, it is a time-tested, proven methodology that's data-driven or data-backed to get them the best result, right? So you can make that message. You just want to be really clear in using the language that attracts the right people that want a proven method. Because who's the ideal client for you? Someone that doesn't want to mess around. Someone that doesn't really want to take a risk. So maybe you've got more established clientele. You got people that are more numbers driven and want to see your plan and see it in action, right? And you can appeal to that. Absolutely. You may just want to polish some of your.
And one of the things that I always tout too during our listing presentations is I've got a ton of resources. I mean, you know, whatever problems we encounter along the way, I promise you, I'll know how to take care of it. You know, and if I don't, I know people that do. You know what I'm getting at? So I'm not trying to say that I know all the answers before the questions are asked by any means, but I've never encountered a challenge we haven't been able to find a good solution to.
That resonated more with me than what your statement was. Would you guys agree with that? Right? So when you hire me, you're not just hiring me, you're hiring an entire network of professionals that have a track record of taking care of my people.
Yeah, I like that.
Your network is your strength, Brian. I know this about you. You really do have someone that could solve any problem that you could possibly face.
Right.
Are you marketing to that? Or are you just saying something that's a little bit more generic?
Well, you know, maybe I just assumed that people knew it. So yeah, no, I think I need to do a better job of conveying that message up front.
I think the people that know you know it. But if you want to expand
Right.
and grow your business, you need to make sure the people that don't know you see it too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So sorry to pick on you.
You're fine. I got broad shoulders.
You do. You do. And you spell your name the right way, so I know you can take a hit. Maybe not from a murderer, but you know, we hold our own. So did going through that, did that resonate with anybody? Does that make sense? So really highlight that what's unique, right? Steve, I could say the same thing for you. I mean, any of us that have been in the business for more than a few years, I mean, how important is your network of vendors to what you do?
It's something that I should, we just highlighted and starred that on our notes here. That's something that I should definitely be promoting, not over promote, or if not over promoting, is that, you know, I got a guy. No matter what comes up in this transaction with your house, with buying, with selling, even if you're not buying or selling right now, and if you need to know who the best roofer is or who a guy is that can fix that or the other. Let me be your resource for that.
Let me be your resource. Yeah, love that.
I have a thought on that note, because a lot of us have a network of people. I went to one showing and a realtor had like his little information card. It's like a half sheet of paper, and then on the back was a list of all his preferred vendors. I mean, he was promoting his network, which on the one hand I thought was cool, but then if I just leave that out for someone, they don't have a reason to call me. So I was
So now we're
weighing
getting,
out whether that was actually a good idea or not.
now we're getting into mystique. Maybe your trust in mystique, right? So maybe you're like, yeah, I have that trust, but that's only for the people that are close with me. Like you get VIP treatment when you work with me, right? You get access to these people that can take care of your needs or give you discounts, right? Does it make sense? So I actually have a VIP program. Most agents don't know this because I don't share it. I'll share it with you guys. And that's where I get discounts at all my preferred vendors. And the people that I frequent, including restaurants, my clients, if they close or refer, get a VIP card that they can show that gets them in whatever deal it is that they want to provide, right? So companies do this all the time, right? They have loyalty cards. Why can't you do this as a business? If vendor is really, if your network is really your value, right? That's something unique to you. So love that, yeah. Being the resource. Thank you, Steve, for sharing. That should resonate with everything too. I mean, I started my business, like I said, with open houses, but my secondary source, actually it was Sphere Open Houses. My third source, excuse me, was business to business. It was totally B2B, right? Because I came from HR, that was what I knew. And so my brand message that I say at every consultation, listing or buyer is you don't need an Angie's list, you have a Brian's list. I say that to every single client that I work with. Meaning if you need something, I should be your first call. It doesn't matter if it's a haircut, have your car worked on, have your nails done, I got them all. You want a great place to pedicure? I got a place that'll put hot stones in between your toes. You will not regret it. It's amazing. I go there every month, right? So I'm your guy. I'm your resource for anything that you need, real estate or not, right? Cool. All right, so now we're gonna do that personal exercise. This is actually on page 22. And those of you that don't have this, I would say come up here, you guys can snap a picture of it or take a round table back there, because this is huge. Basically, this activity, it talks about completing your style analysis. So we've already talked about your USP. This is where you can actually hone in on your style. For example, are you formal, business casual, informal? Are you conservative, chic, flamboyant, bohemian? What are your clients? Are they luxury, middle class, working class? Are they a combination? Are they retirees? Are they families? Are they recent college grads? Are they a combination? Are they conservative, chic, flamboyant, bohemian? Are they younger, middle-aged, older, right? This is really the kind of work. We're gonna spend about 10, 15 minutes on this that you guys should be doing to identify who's my audience, what are my platforms that I'm utilizing, and what's my messaging going to be? Because if you don't know this, then you're just all over the board, right? So if you guys need to see that, it's right here. I've got that up front, anybody that doesn't have it, but we're gonna set 10, 15 minutes. If you guys need to take a bio break, you can. I can also run and make copies of just this individual page if you guys want. Yeah, actually, who doesn't have this sheet?
I have it on my phone, but
Do not?
I think having it on a printed sheet would be useful.
Yeah, so let's do this. Why don't you guys take a quick bio break? I'm gonna run up, make some copies of just this page so you guys can have a printout, because I think actually getting into how and getting into this activity is gonna be good for you guys. You good with that? Okay, cool. Those of you online, page 22, you guys take your notebook out. You guys can go ahead and start working on that. It is now 12:27. We're gonna come back at 12:43. But I'll come print and we'll set a timer. Cool. There used to be a printer down here. I'll be right back. How many copies do we need? 1, 2, 3. 15. Okay, I'll be right back.
We just added to my Lee Browery.
I read it all. That was his stuff. Let me know.
Rich dad, poor dad, what the rich teach their kids about money.
Yeah.
It's fast.
Well,
Our style, he's talking about what our style to be. He's talking the rich dad is the best friend. It's kind of. His dad was a school teacher.
Do you agree?
our style is what it is, you know, it's.
He's not on board, but
Yeah.
he's not investing in real estate.
Agreed.
All that stuff.
But the whole idea is, are you working for money or are you making money work for you?
Yeah.
That's it. So trash, that's what we're You'll get one.
Nice.
Our clients are.
What's your budget? Just started with the way we talk. The words we use, the way we express things, or the way we explain things. They see the other person as what we perceive their interpretation.
Try to mirror them.
Like I
Make them feel comfortable.
showed a house to a doctor. And he's like, no clue.
Anything.
I looked like that. He had long hair. He was an older guy. His hair was pulled back and braided. It was about that long, braided.
Not nervous, not nervous,
I was prepared to be more doctor like. Then he got out. This car, we started talking. Yeah.
Where,
Fastest copy here. I just.
All right. I got it. I'll leave it alone.
All promotion, I got it.
It may be crooked, but it's fast. Need a pen. It's gone. Go for it. Awesome. Take a pen. Charles.
Yeah.
You're welcome. There's an extra copy.
I think we're okay.
We were prepared, but thank you.
She did it. She did it.
She said.
You're
"Sure,
sorry."
Keep an extra one. Andy. Those of you online, if you want copies of this, the next time you're at the office, I can leave these up with Ashley. Just these single pages, so that if you want to redo that activity on your own, you can. I highly recommend.
Brian, have you read the book Words That Sell? 100 something. One of my
It's just varied. So we bring that to the table. Leave the community.
Just life experience.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with all three of us.
oh, that's fine.
Easily.
I'm the glue on the back end over here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Experienced, prepared. I like prepared. We vote two offers right now. It's funny that you said
So.
aggressive.
Ended up teaching, but I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's what it means.
I don't think I would use the word reject.
Okay, I'm just on who you are now.
For the most part. I mean, I
Always.
can ramp it up. I need to. I'm sure you can too.
Might as well just end them all. Just about, right?
Those to me, what I think
Experienced.
that clients would like to sense in us. Swan clients right now, they're like, take us, let's go. Where do I sign? Yeah. We know nothing. So you bet they think that we're experienced. And just tell them what to do.
Will that change the price?
I didn't decide on the price. I can't remember.
Not that she's so late, but still, we want everything to.
This is basically a brand new house. Every square inch. Thing. This apart.
Anybody need more time? Show of hands. Good. Sweet, all right. Ahead of schedule. Nice, all right. We got 20 minutes total, okay. So. There it is. So what'd you guys get out of that? Have you guys done that breakdown before? For yourself?
No.
Yes, no?
No.
Okay. Anything surprise you, or did it kind of allow you to focus a little bit on some aspects of who you should target? So someone give me an aha, like what kind of light bulb went off as you were going through and actually filling out your style analysis?
Harder than what you would think it is.
Yeah. So, why do you think it's harder?
Because you're trying to define yourself or label yourself as one thing. And I don't think that's possible.
Right.
I don't think you should. You know, we came up with the word chameleon. You know, you kind of want to mimic or be the same type of person that you're talking to. If you at all can.
So, and that's sales, right? So, I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, because really, we talk about mirroring and matching in a lot of lead gen courses, right? And being that chameleon, right? It's like, oh, you like dogs? Well, guess what? I like dogs. Oh, you like cats? Guess what? I like cats, right? It's really easy to have that. So how do you guys stand out and be unique while also trying to connect and find common ground? I think the answer to that is it two-way conversation or is it one-way conversation, right? Because when you're in two-way conversation, you should be mirroring, right? You should be building rapport and trust with a level of authenticity at the same time, right? But marketing is your opportunity to really highlight the aspects of yourself that you wouldn't normally be able to highlight when you're working with your clients. And for your clients, it's probably pretty engaging, guys, because it's all been about them. And now post-close, they actually genuinely want to know about you. Does that make sense? So good, thank you for bringing that up. What else? What else did you guys get out of doing that activity?
I think the biggest aha that whenever you sit and write one of these style things is there's a difference between what you think of yourself and what you present. And you have to be able to recognize which is real.
And which one do you want to put out there? Which one should you put out there?
And does it, so when you sit and write out your clients, it's who you think you are, what you present to who you want to attract. So when you're writing down your clients, I mean, it's easy for us to say we all want luxury, but do we present ourselves to those luxury clients in a way that relates to them? Or do we only feel that inside? And being able to translate that, and do you want to be that actual person? Is that who you actually want to be? Because if you walk around a wolf in sheep's skin all the time, you're not going to be very happy. So it's important to relate to yourself how you actually want to be.
Good takeaway, yeah. What's the overarching thing that you need to really create this branding message and actually put yourself out there? What do you have to do that?
Authenticity.
Authenticity, energy, right? Where does your energy come from?
Attitude.
Attitude. So we talk about being motivational, educational, and inspirational to the people, but guys, your messages are for you to hear too. You can actually find more energy by engaging in a way that's authentic, and you can drain your energy by engaging in a way that's inauthentic. Anybody had that experience before? Yeah. It's exhausting to be someone that you're not.
It's the fastest way to burnout.
Yeah. And the way to not connect with your people, because then if what they get is not as advertised, what's your repeat and referral business going to look like with that person? I'm glad you brought up luxury, right? There's a reason why not everybody does luxury market. And there's a reason why people don't always do the business market, working class, farm and ranch, right? Know who your audience is and tailor your messages to them. You will not see me with a cowboy hat and boots on trying to walk land. I don't have any business being there.
Like no business.
Zero business being there, right? In fact, and I have a couple land listings in my pipeline right now, and guess what? I'm gonna be partnering with someone that does wear a cowboy hat, right? Because I'm happy to give 50% away to make sure that the person who is connected with me has the right experience and it's authentic, than to try and be something I'm not.
Who's a cowboy hat land walking agent we got around here?
Well, we got a bunch.
Dusty.
There's Dusty, there's Phil Reed, there's, I mean, there's more than that too. We've got a bunch, right? Dusty's the one most people talk about because he has a billboard where he's riding a longhorn like a horse. Marketing, right? He brands himself specific to his base. And people call him just because of that stinking billboard because they think it's freaking hilarious. I was out in Branson, there's an agent, and I legitimately know this agent, she is a really goofy person. On her billboard, she has googly eyes. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly her personality. At first I was like, and then I had to think about it, I was like, no, actually that's perfect, right?
I was with somebody and they saw that sign and they said, why would she do that? And my reply was, you'll remember it and you remembered seeing it. It's top of mind now.
It worked.
Worked because you made a comment about it.
And the
As goofy as
experience
it
that
was.
she creates is probably her being lighthearted and goofy, and you're gonna have fun. This process is supposed to be fun. It's not all business, right? And the luxury client that is all business is not going to call on that sign, right? And that's okay. So,
Someone commented on that.
perfect. The way people perceive you may be different than the way you perceive yourself. Feel them out and build rapport. Don't be fake, be you. Yeah, good way to summarize some of those takeaways, David. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, feeling them out. Interesting choice of words. Getting to know them for.
Well, we talk about
You know,
touch campaigns and
Yeah.
drip campaigns. I mean, what more do you expect, Steve?
Having the preconceived notion about who you are trying to work for and work with is, that can get you in a lot of trouble too. You got to really take the time to connect, as you said, because some of my most wealthy, influential luxury clients have been the biggest goofballs ever. And if I go in thinking, I've got to act a certain way and be a certain way because surely they are a certain way and they're not, then you're totally thrown off your game. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget someone when I first started, I won't name any names. They're not in the industry anymore anyway. So big surprise. They said, I don't want to work with a client that's less than 300,000 on the sales price.
Wow.
Guess who's still in the business? Guess who's not,
Mhm.
right? Now, that could have been authentic to him, but it wasn't. So it wasn't, right? And you may not be appealing to who you think you're appealing to with the content that you're putting out. It's kind of what Steve's point is, right? So like those luxury clients are people. They all have their own personalities. Some of them like dad jokes. Some of them like the suit and tie. You don't know that about them. You can only bring in you can only attract what you put out. So being authentic, yeah. You guys ever, anybody read Sign and Cynic? Nope. Okay, so you'll recognize this. Why, how,
Apple.
what? Yeah, the Apple analogy. There's a 5-minute TED Talk on it.
What's the name of the book?
This is called, it's from his book, Start With Why. Fantastic book. There's also another one called Find Your Why. And he talks about it from leaders inspiring their employees' perspective, but it actually applies to marketing too. So he says consistently, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? And so if you want to run a test on any marketing that you have, look at your real estate bio and any of the profiles, and then highlight with 3 different colors, what is what I do, what is how I do it, and then what is why I do it. And see how the arrangement is. I guarantee you 99% of the bios that you'll read in real estate is, this is what I do. It's like, hey, I serve buyers and sellers in the market and the Ozark, blah, 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 blah. I give the best marketing and the best, everything, and service is top notch how. And at the very bottom, it's like, by the way, when I'm not doing real estate, I'm golfing or doing whatever, right? The why is at the very end. So if you really want to engage someone at a marketing standpoint, flip that. Start with why, go inside out. For example, Ryan is a passionate member of the Ozarks that loves all things nerdy. He loves board games. He loves Star Wars. His dog's named Indiana Bones, and his other dog is called Boba Fetch. Loves spending time building Lego forts with his son Charlie and spending time with his wife Melissa. He's an expert at marketing, and he gives all of his clients the same treatment regardless of price point. Right? Why, how, then what? If you're looking to buy or sell, give me a call or give Brian a call. Does that make sense? You guys feel the difference? So this is just a quick check if you want to do your bio. Watch that video. Is your messaging starting with why?
What's the video again?
It's a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk. You search Start With Why. There's 2 versions. There's a 5-minute abridged version. There's a 20-minute full version of it. I think the actual true TED Talk was how great leaders inspire others, because they talk about Apple versus Microsoft, so it's a little old school, but I mean, it still holds true because, for Apple, you're not buying the technology. Everybody has better tech, especially they did at the time they do this video, right? There's better computers, there's better phones, right? You're buying why they do it. You're buying the lifestyle brand. And then everything else follows, right? So you can tailor your messaging the same way. All right, so we're gonna wrap up. So we did that activity together. We talked about it. We're not gonna go through these methods because we've already been talking about all the methods that are actually relevant. This one I do want to highlight, especially lead with revenue, right? Free or cheap is the way to go, right? You should have a marketing budget. This is the mistake I made when I really launched. I looked at my P&L a couple of years ago, and 14% of my budget was spent on marketing. That's a lot, right? My lead gen budget should be 10, and it was more like 5. So I had to realign, right? So you can get out of budget real fast on that, but make sure you're leading with revenue. And then with community involvement, I mean, this, I'm not gonna highlight a whole lot, but if your brand is in line with certain community outlets, make yourself a part of this. Lindy, I know, is online. They do a great job of this by doing their blood drive, right? So Owner's Choice, they do a blood drive every year. They actually communicate it. They share it with other agents, right? Red Day is a good example. You can make calls. I have a coaching client that has single-handedly raised a third of our goal in terms of donations given.
Christina.
By herself, by just focusing on calling businesses and understanding what she was trying to, so she came from the foster care system. So Dogwood Ranch was very important to her, right? It was a cause that she believed in, and it got her results for that charitable contribution and adds to her database for her future business, right? So being purposeful about how you connect in the community can be huge too. I do a podcast. Most people don't know that because I don't make a lot of money at it. The purpose of it is not for people to listen to it. It's for me to interview my guests. And those guests I have a deep connection with, and they're business owners right here in our market. And so I'm going to get their business guaranteed because I've taken the time to make something be about them, not about me. Does that make sense? So whatever you do, make sure that you're looking for a win-win. Make sure you're thanking. We're going to skip past media advertising, mail outs. We're not going to do that. Signs. Internet. Oh, this is fun. Other ideas? Yeah, all this stuff is old news. So this is more about SEO, and that's really not the way that we do things now. And the class isn't really about that, so I'm going to skip past that. But on the listing side, we got about 5 minutes left. On the list side, I will tell you, it's all about making sure that you've got compelling traffic. So you guys wanted actuals instead of just hypotheticals. So this is my business page. You can tell they know I'm a realtor because they're advertising to me over here on the side, right? If I actually get into my business page itself and look at my posts, I got a content calendar. I post all the time, open houses, videos, right? If you look at my content as far as videos go, again, personal videos here. Got listing videos. There's a playlist here for weird real estate facts. That's a series I started, which is literally just me Googling stuff and sharing stuff that I thought was interesting. And it's had a huge amount of engagement. Real estate hot or not, these are my corny game show style intros where I talk about the most boring thing ever, which is market statistics. I have more realtors watch these than I do clients, right? But I'm a real estate coach. So do you think that's a feeder for my business, for the coaching side? Absolutely.
You probably plug it a whole bunch too, don't you?
I do, yeah. And then I've got weekly content on all different kinds of content, right? All different kinds of things. My most watched video is the one where I actually got hit in the face about a year ago. It was me with a little kitty basketball, and I was like, this listing's a slam dunk. And then someone was tossing me the ball, but I kept missing it, and it would fumble it, and eventually it just hit right in the face. Kill, absolutely kill. So we look at it, like here, for example, this one, weird real estate facts. I'll play this very briefly. I'm not gonna play the whole video, but again, I'm gonna actually play it. Shoot, I might have to go from here. Weird real estate facts. There we go. See, 3 minutes. All of them are kind of floating right around that 3-minute mark, right? So that's me doing my cheesy intro. That's the hook. Tell them weird real estate facts. Here I tell them, and then at the end, wherever it is, I'm going blind. Go the blind, it's contact info at the end, right? And so the engagement here, you can see the retention curve. This shows like 30-second views, 3-second views. It does drop off towards the end. I've got 335 3-second views. 24 reactions, comments, and shares. I used emojis in the post. And then because I have the channel on Facebook, whenever they watch one, it rolls right into another one, right? So if you make content that's engaging, they can log into it. So, but you guys can check it out. It's Realtor or Brian Stone - Realtor. I think the actual hashtag is @Realtor Brian Stone. But don't just look at mine. Look at Paulina's. Find another agent in the marketplace that markets the way that you want to market and follow them, see what they do, right? So we talked about how we got into some of the tactics. Prioritization without leverage. So scheduling this stuff can really get overwhelming. What I would tell you is there's a bold law, all work expands to fill the time allowed, right? So if you only have 5 minutes to do content, then you book 5 minutes. And it's a quick story once a day or 3 times a week or whatever, and that's all you do, right? It doesn't have to be crazy. Remember, consistency beats intensity. If you're like me and you want to really have the accountability of doing something consistent, book yourself time every week. When I was doing all my weekly videos at the most consistent rate, I actually booked it at a studio with a professional videographer. I had to lead with revenue, but I showed up and shot him in 30 minutes. I shot both videos. He did all the editing, sent them to me, and then I had them scheduled out afterwards for Tuesday and Thursday every week, right? And that consistency leads to mind share, right? People start associating you with that. And then we had proven strategies. So anything that we didn't talk about that you guys wanted to talk about with the last minute or so that we.
There was a question online.
Yep. Is your page about touches, but do you get unmet leads? So I do, because of other people sharing content. Usually it's listings, right? The listings are always the most engaging. If I look in my page, all of my listing videos always have more engagement than anywhere else. And when I go live on a listing, after time to actually go live, I don't. Good. No, per our MLS rules, you can list 24 hours ahead of time, right? So 24 hours from it being live, you can put a sign in the yard and you can actually post socially publicly. Up to 24 hours. So you have to have your ducks in a row to make sure you're going live at that time. Use a transaction coordinator, use a service, have it all prepped ahead of time, make your plan. But 24 hours before you can say, hey, sneak peek. And I do sneak peek to KW site. I do sneak peek to GSBOR, and I post on my business page and then share it to my personal page. Say, hey, upcoming listing. And it's a video with me in the intro branded, and then a video on the house. 24 hours, up to 24 hours before you can do that, right? So I usually do it less than 24 hours because I try to hit it either lunchtime or around 4:30, 5 o'clock when people are on their phones, right? So you can do that, push the content out, and that's how you get people that you don't already know. And you can share it with groups everywhere. Start adding yourself to groups for Facebook. Listings like Nixon surrounding areas, homes for sale. Springfield and surrounding areas, homes for sale. 417 homes for sale, right? There is a ton of groups that are run by realtors, but you're still going to get the traffic, right? So if you're sharing from your business page to those groups, it'll draw people into your page. And the general rule that I'll tell you too, as far as sharing, 80-20. If you don't put content out personally, do not put out content professionally. If you're making 5 posts in a month or in a week, whatever time frame you pick, 4 of those 5 should be personal on your personal page, and 1 of them should be business. If you're on your business page, same thing, flip. 4 should be business, 1 should be personal. One of the best videos I ever did was with my son talking about schools, right? Everybody liked it. He's super cute. Blonde hair, blue eyes, just knocks him dead, right? So make sure that you're following that 80-20 rule in terms of sharing personal and professional. That'll keep people engaged and keep them from unsubscribing. So that's my time and actually overtime.
Or unfriending.
Or unfriending, yeah. So again, the goal is not to engage right on the post and have people call you to sell their house. The goal is to consistently over time become the brand that is authentic to you so that people associate you with what you want them to associate you with. Right? Whatever that is. So thank you guys for your time today.
Great job, Brian.
Hey, I'll stick around if you guys need anything. The just let me know. I'll stay around for the next 20, 30 minutes if anybody wants any specific questions. I'm gonna stop the recording though, and I'll jump into command doing the neighborhood nurse because I know some of you guys had asked about that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brian. Where's your purple at today? You thought you didn't want purple?
I know, it's normally my brand, but it could have been my opener. It's raining. I didn't want to wear a